Let's pick up where we left off. So far on our journey, we've established the problem. We've seen what happened. Sin entered the world, fracturing our relationship with God. And we've looked at where that left us, separated from Him by a chasm we cannot cross on our own. But thankfully, the story does not end there. God did not leave us in that impossible situation. This brings us to the most important question on our roadmap, the very heart of the story. Who? Who is the answer to this dilemma? The Bible reveals that God had a plan for redemption thousands of years ago, a promise woven through all of Scripture. Now we meet the person who would execute the plan, Jesus Christ. Let's now turn our full attention to Him. So, the Bible points to Jesus as the answer. But how do we know that this is true? How do we know He was truly God's promised Redeemer and not just another historical figure? God didn't ask us to have blind faith. He built a case, providing a mountain of evidence that has been tested and examined for centuries. It starts with the scriptures themselves. Think about the book we call the Bible. It wasn't written by one person in one sitting. It was written over 1,500 years by about 40 different authors from every walk of life: kings, fishermen, doctors, and prophets. Written on 3 different continents in 3 different languages. Yet it tells one single unified story of redemption that points to one person, Jesus. And within this unified story, God gave us a way to verify the Messiah's identity. Prophecy. There are over 2,000 prophecies in the Old Testament, written hundreds of years before Jesus was born, that act as a divine fingerprint, describing who the Messiah would be, where he would be born, how he would live, and how he would die. Jesus fulfilled over 300 of these prophecies. Now, to put that into perspective, mathematicians have calculated the odds of just one man fulfilling even 8 of these prophecies by chance. The probability is 1 in 100 quadrillion. That is 1 with 17 zeros after it. It's an impossibility. Yet, Jesus fulfilled over 300 prophecies. His arrival was so significant that it literally split history in two. The calendar that the entire world uses, before Christ and after, is centered around his birth. But the ultimate proof, the event that distinguishes Jesus from every other religious leader who has ever lived, is his resurrection from the dead. This wasn't a secret event. The Apostle Paul writes in 1 Corinthians 15 verse 6, "Then he appeared to more than 500 people at one time." This is not a private hallucination. This is an army of eyewitnesses. God sent prophets. He gave us the scriptures. And ultimately, He came in the flesh to provide undeniable proof that Jesus Christ is exactly who He said He was. Beyond the evidence of prophecy and eyewitness accounts of His resurrection, Jesus provided another layer of public undeniable proof of His identity. He performed miracles. These weren't small hidden tricks. These were public displays of divine power that were witnessed by hundreds and in some cases thousands of people. Think about what they saw Him do. They saw Him raise people from the dead, including a man named Lazarus, who had been in the tomb for 4 days. They witnessed Him feed thousands of hungry people with just 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. They watched Him turn ordinary water into the finest wine at a wedding feast, and His own disciples saw Him walk on water in the middle of a storm. So let's just pause and review the evidence we've seen so far. We have evidence of a Creator. We have historical evidence of a holy man who walked this earth 2,000 years ago. A man who perfectly fulfilled hundreds of ancient biblical prophecies about His coming. A man who performed miracles that no one else could do. Power over nature, power over sickness, and even over death itself. And a man who boldly and repeatedly proclaimed that he was God in the flesh. When you look at all of this evidence together, you are led to an inescapable conclusion. For me, that conclusion is clear. I believe Jesus is God in human form.